And of course, in terms of any credibility of any with any nation of the global south, also forget it.
Well, you can't accept anything that they say at face value. They're always saying that they're winning, they're always succeeding. They definitely do not have access to what goes on underground and under the mountain. And so they are saying what they want people to hear. From my understanding, the targets that they struck, which the Israeli regime struck before, were already damaged, and they didn't contribute much more to what had already been done. The deep underground facilities are a different matter altogether. And there's no doubt that the United States has no way of assessing at this moment if there has been any substantial damage or not. Obviously, there would be damage, but substantial damage is another thing. But most importantly, Nima, is that this this is not going to stop Iran's nuclear program. These facilities can be built elsewhere. They can build them secretly from now on for good reason. They can they know how to make the most advanced centrifuges. They have enriched uranium. They know how to do all these things. There's not a way in the world that the Americans can stop Iran's peaceful nuclear program. So they can claim that they've destroyed everything. They won the war in Ukraine. We heard that the Russians were losing for 3 years, and then suddenly we discovered things were not going as well as planned. They said they destroyed all of our missiles, and every day we're seeing them being hammered with missiles. They're always about to finish us off. That's how it's been for the last 40 some years. So I wouldn't take their propaganda seriously. We'll have to see what happens. I don't have access to what goes on underground, but I have no doubt that they don't either.
This, for the moment, this is an enormous PR stunt. It smells and walks and talks like a gigantic rat. So far, we have not seen anything remotely approaching severe damage anywhere. The photos that we have seen so far are some damage to 2 exit points at Fordo. And like Mohammed said, we have no idea what happened underground and if something happened underground. And of course, now we know that 2 days before the strike, everything that was important in Fordo was removed. This was already confirmed by very serious Iranian official sources. So what we have at the moment, we have that pathetic former platoon commander in Iraq posing as the head of the Pentagon, saying his own words, "We devastated Iran's nuclear program," which in itself, even if this was a Netflix scenario, it would be a pathetic thing to say because there's no confirmation about anything. We have J.D. Vance, I think I saw this a few minutes ago, showing up on some network saying, apparently the Iranians are not very good at waging war, so now they should sue for peace. So what is this? This is the whole scenario is in fact a really cheap Netflix series.
I would also add that while, as Pepe says correctly, that this is a PR stunt. This is a PR stunt for Americans, but for people across the world, they see the United States as dishonest. They see the United States as trying to wreck itself, both it and the Israeli regime, wrecking negotiations, being deceitful at the negotiating table. They cannot be taken seriously. They're murderous. They wage wars. They tear up the UN Charter at will. This is not going to be good for the United States. This is going to be horrific. But as Pepe points out, this is a PR stunt for the base to say that we're tough and strong, but the damage that it does to the United States is extraordinary. And also, okay, so if now you've destroyed the Iranian nuclear program, as you claim, then you have no more problem with Iran. then you have no more justification to confront Iran.
We can say that the damage to US credibility is on several levels. Internationally, obviously, all across the global south is beyond repair. And this was part of virtually every serious conversation during the St. Petersburg Forum this week. MAGA is dead. I would quote, and I'm sure our audience will be familiar with that famous, and I'm taking it directly from Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. Where's MAGA? MAGA's dead, baby. MAGA's dead. And MAGA now is dead, completely, Tarantino style. And in fact, it was a suicide because the death of MAGA was perpetrated by the MAGA creator. Over 50% of MAGA supporters, they are anti-Zionists. So his base is devastated completely, unlike Fordo. On a global level, this is extremely serious because no nation state anywhere from now on can believe anything on any level coming from any US administration. Diplomatic, geopolitical, geoeconomic offers, deals, agreements, etc. They managed in, okay, 2 strikes. They destroyed completely, finally, international law from the point of view of the United States. They destroyed the UN Charter, which for big players like Russia and China is something sacred.
I was saying right before the show that someone, not even from the region, not even, I think not even Muslim, not from the region, was saying that Iran is fighting on behalf of humanity. And the United States is and the Israeli regime, they are now viewed by the world as the real enemy. And the Europeans and the European elites, of course, and the meaning American elites and European elites, the mad people, the crazy people that Pepe was alluding to, these people are a menace to humanity. They're a menace to their own people. They're a menace to Europe and the United States. The Zionists and the neocons are in full control of most of Europe and of course, North America. And so they are dragging down the world, and people are recognizing this.